Can you see me? By acknowledging that we're on the land that has been stewarded by the people who've been here much longer than us, the Anishinaabe, the Neutrals, the Mississaugas of the New Credit, and the Haudenosaunee. We're in the treaty of the dish with one spoon, which is a wonderful metaphor for what the Green Party stands for. So thank you for that. As we say in the Gatineau Hills where I come from, miigwech. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce a man who is the leader of the Green Party. He is a politician unlike any others. I have personally known Tommy Douglas, Justin Trudeau, Pierre Trudeau, Bob Rae, Senator Hugh Segal from that other party, that blue one. There's no one who has more integrity than this gentleman right here, Mr. Mike Schreiner. Welcome, Mike.
Oh, thank you, Sandy, for that incredibly kind introduction. And it is great to be back in Hamilton today with some of our fantastic local candidates, including Sandy Crawley, Sham Chandra, and Casey Wiley. There's Casey, yeah. Thank you all for joining us today. I want to be clear that we have to stop Doug Ford from paving over our future. We have to end this false choice that's being brought forward by the Conservative government that we either develop and pave over the farmland that feeds us and the wetlands that protect us from extreme climate-fueled weather events, or build more homes. This is a false choice, and cities like Hamilton are pushing back against this pro-sprawl, anti-climate, expensive agenda. You know, despite what the other parties may or may not say, who are largely ignoring climate change in this campaign, we are in a climate emergency. It is now or never to address the climate crisis. And transportation is the highest source of climate and air pollution in this province. And the best way to tackle it is to build livable, affordable, connected communities. The kind of communities that so many Ontarians want. Communities where you can walk to access, good, thriving local businesses. Where you have access to local food. Where you have reliable, affordable, and quality public transit, where you have streets that are safe for pedestrians and cyclists and people using wheeled mobility devices. And so the Ontario Greens today are proud to announce our strategy for building the connected communities that so many people in this province want. And we will begin first by reversing the Conservative government's changes to the growth plan that incentivizes and encourages sprawl development. Secondly, we will embrace transit-oriented communities by making public transit affordable and by bringing in pre-zoning for development for affordable housing along transit corridors in the kinds of places and the kinds of affordable homes that people want and need. Third, we will cut transit fares in half, and we will make transit free for high school age students, while at the same time increasing investments in expanding transit to increase services and to make it more affordable. Our commitment is to triple transit use in this province by the end of this decade. And we can do that by investing and expanding the quality of service and the reliability of service. And the fastest, most financially responsible way to do that is through our commitment to bring on 4,000 zero-emission buses for intercity and intra-city transportation in this province. You know, it's 2022. I live in Guelph, and it's completely unacceptable that there's not a direct bus linkage between Guelph and Hamilton, for example. The fastest way, the most affordable way we can ramp up transit use in this province is to get more buses on the road immediately, to expand LRT and subway projects, and for the province to upload 50% of transit costs from municipal budgets, so municipalities have the fiscal capacity to improve service. And finally, we will build the walkable communities that the people of this province want by providing municipalities with infrastructure funding to have protected bike lanes, protected pedestrian and walkable corridors, and protected lanes for people using assisted mobility devices. While we increase access to green space, parks, and nature for urban residents. We know that Ontario must protect the nature that protects us. We've saw this last weekend, tragically, the results of the growing number of climate-fueled weather events that are making life less affordable and more dangerous. And the Ontario Greens have new solutions to these challenges, solutions that will address the climate emergency while at the same time addressing people's affordability concerns and their economic concerns, setting our province up to be a global leader in the fast-growing and emerging markets of the new climate economy. And a major part of delivering on this is building the connected, livable, affordable communities people want in this province. I'm now open to taking any questions.
We will now take any media questions from the ground.
Hi, Mike Dwayne from CHCH. I'd like to get your comments on the protests that followed Doug Ford and especially the arrest yesterday that happened at the Hamilton Airport.
Yeah, I just think it is wrong and inappropriate to arrest journalists, even those that may be citizen journalists, at a political event. I mean, we live in a province, in a country where, one, people should be able to express themselves without fear of arrest, and two, people who are engaging in journalistic activities should not be arrested for showing up at a political event.
call for media questions on the ground. Darren, if you have any questions from Zoom.
Thank you. Okay, if you have a question, please use the raised hand function and I'll call on you. First up, we have Randy Toms from 93.1 The Border. Randy, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hi, Mike. If you hear a dog barking in the background, my apologies. I am working from home today.
Hey, you know what? I own a dog and I'm a dog lover, so I'm more than happy to share the mic with your dog.
So, Mike, as we head down into the last stretch, can you talk a little bit about your campaign and the things that you're going to have to do to get to voters to really cast that ballot green on June 2nd?
Yeah, it's people-powered change. Green campaigns are fueled by volunteers, and we're just excited about the tremendous momentum the party has, particularly coming out of the leaders' debate, where for the first time in history we had the opportunity to present the Green Party's vision, share our values and our policy priorities with Ontarians, and we've seen a tremendously positive response from people. More people coming out to volunteer, sign requests, donations, and just excitement and momentum, especially in ridings like Parry Sound Muskoka, University Rosedale, and ridings here in Hamilton. And so we're just going to build on that people-powered momentum over the final week of the campaign, continuing to connect with our neighbors, our friends, our fellow Ontarians, to share our vision and how a green vote will bring real change to Queen's Park and provide the leadership we need to deliver new solutions to so many of the old problems that the status quo parties have failed to solve.
No disrespect to those that are standing behind you, but in a lot of the ridings, you have very young candidates. And I just wonder, is that kind of the future for your party going forward? You know, maybe those are the ones that can stick around and maybe be candidates in maybe the next 4 or 8 years that may have even more staying power that will help you get to where you want to be in Ontario.
Well, I hear Sandy, who is definitely one of our youngest candidates, laughing behind me here with that question. But I'll just say that we have a fantastically diverse and strong set of candidates across the province. And I think we made a special effort to recruit more young candidates because so much of what we're fighting for is to ensure that my children, Sandy, do you have grandchildren?
Yes, I do.
Sandy's grandchildren, in the riding, Sandy's grandchildren, our nieces and nephews, have a livable future. That they can raise their families in an Ontario that is climate ready, with a prosperous economy, with the new career and better job opportunities that exist in the new climate economy. That the nature that protects us and supports us and helps reduce the severity of these climate-fueled weather events are protected. And so I think one of the reasons we've been able to attract so many young candidates, and I'm proud that we have so many young candidates running for us, is that we're fighting for a better future, a future where they can afford to own a home, a future where our healthcare system is invested in the people that's going to expand the capacity to deliver care for people, a future where we've created new careers and better jobs for them in the climate economy. And so we're going to continue to take that vision, those policy priorities to the people of this province over the next week that's left in this campaign, 6 days. And our goal is to deliver more green MPPs to Queen's Park because we've shown the influence that we've had with one green MPP, and we can maximize that influence to improve people's lives with more green MPPs.
Thanks, Randy. Next up, we have Steve Aiken from TVO. Please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Thanks, Darren. Good morning, Mike.
Morning.
I asked this question knowing that riding by riding polls are notoriously unreliable, but I did see one the other day showing your candidate in Perry Sound, Muskoka with a rather sizable lead. And I wonder, A, do you believe that?
Well, Steve, I've said this on many occasions, and I think I'm quoting you when I say this, that polls tell you what voters thought about yesterday, not about where they stand on election day. And so while we're incredibly excited and energized by the momentum we're seeing in Parry Sound, Muskoka, we know that we have to work hard to earn people's trust and earn their vote on election day. And I'm really excited. I'll be in Parry Sound, Muskoka tomorrow, and we're going to have our biggest canvassing day of this entire election campaign in Parry Sound, Muskoka, because we know we have to work hard to capitalize on the opportunity and the momentum we see in Parry Sound, Muskoka.
So my follow-up then is, are you concerned that with the publishing of that poll, it will energize conservatives to come out and the lead may evaporate?
You know what? We're just going to continue to build on our momentum, Steve. I can tell you, I was up there knocking on doors the other day, and a number of the doors I knocked on were people who said, "Oh, I've traditionally been a conservative voter, and I'm looking at voting green this time." Primarily because of the housing affordability plan the Ontario Greens have put forward, our support for small businesses, especially people frustrated with the fact that big box stores, the Conservatives kept big box stores open and closed small businesses during the pandemic, and we had spoken out against that and will continue to speak out supporting small businesses, and also people recognizing that our focus on protecting the nature that sustains so much of the wealth, the prosperity, and the jobs in Parry Sound, Muskoka. And people saying, you know, hey, we want to send a, honest, authentic voice from Parry Sound, Muskoka to Queen's Park to really fight for what this riding needs to sustain the quality of life and the prosperity of our local economy. And people are saying that, we like Matt Richter and we like the Ontario Greens plan.
Thank you.
Anything else in the Zoom? Please use the raise hand function. Okay, that looks like everything from the Zoom side.
So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And I want to say that we can address the housing affordability crisis without paving over our children's future. Communities and cities like Hamilton are pushing back against the Conservative government's pro-sprawl, anti-climate agenda. And the Ontario Greens are here to stand with people, to be your voice, to bring people-powered change to Queen's Park, to build the Ontario you want, an Ontario that ensures that people have an affordable place to call home, that we invest in improving our healthcare capacity by investing in the people who deliver that care, and ensuring that our communities are climate ready for the extreme weather events that are getting more frequent and expensive, and ready to ensure that we have the prosperous economy we need, creating new career and better job opportunities for people in the new climate economy. And I'm asking over these final 6 days of the election campaign for people to rally and build on the momentum that Ontario Greens have right now going into Election Day. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here today. Merci et miigwech.
Thank you, everyone.
Record.